on a Sunday, no one speaks English at all. So we are not. There's no English-speaking people. So should this matter? Is this an issue? I think we're not allowed to say we, meaning we're not allowed to say there is an issue that many of us feel uncomfortable.
Metal Gear Sing in progress.
Living with and sharing our lives with people.
He's got his sword on the back.
Share our history.
He's got his steroid bottle in the back.
By history, I mean.
And he's 1970s Reebok Classic. 1970s Reebok Classic. Look at his clothes, bruv. He's very wrinkled up.
I mean,
I'm your clothes, fam.
I know we're living cheek by jowl with people who we don't share that shared value, that shared history with.
Yo, Raj,
and that
I'm your
makes
clothes,
many of us
fam.
feel uncomfortable. That's not racism at all. Any more than would be the same thing not going to happen to
From the
Japanese
80s, Reebok
or to
Classic.
Nigerians or to Saudi Arabians.
Black Tataraj, you know.
Or even
Black
Turkey.
Tataraj.
So I think this is a fair observation. It's not something we should be
You're
embarrassed
right.
about.
Are you black?
But there are demographic changes.
You're right. Are you black?
Into this country, which are alarming.
He needs the cap, the black
Some
cap.
of the demographic predictions for the future are that English people will be a minority.
He needs that cap in it, black.
Within say 50
You know, black
years.
cap.
In fact, that's actually a prediction for every single European country that the indigenous population will be a minority within perhaps one generation. Should this bother us? And many people say, well, no, why should it be? To an issue for us is
From camera to camera, I can see that. Don't watch that. Look.
is racism. I don't think it's racism any more than it would be for the Aboriginals or other peoples who have an attachment to their land.
Look, he's acting like intellectual, but he's so dumb.
In large numbers who are
Raj
now
acting intellectual, but he's so
say
dumb.
there as them, and that becomes an issue for them. So I think
We're
that's
acting
just,
so intellectual, man. You're low IQ, dumb
I think
guy.
your take on, like, if you just give your background.
Raj, you're
as well,
dumb.
that'd be good.
Basically,
You're
I'm
dumb.
like a Turkish.
Raj, you're dumb. Accept it.
I grew up in a
You're low
very
IQ.
English
Stop
town.
acting
High Wycombe.
high IQ,
Not sure if you know where
man. Stop
High Wycombe
acting
is.
like you understand everything.
So basically, what I think about what John Cleese said. Now, what
Yeah,
John
totally,
Cleese said
yeah,
was an
totally.
observation in terms of the actual words that came out of his mouth, or whatever he typed on Twitter. However, with some of these quotes, you have to look at subtleties sometimes. So it's true, English people have become a minority in London. However, sometimes when people mention how London is foreign or how London is non-English, they are code words for people basically trying to say that London is a shithole because there are too many foreigners. There are too many people of ethnic backgrounds. Now, this might sound a bit anecdotal, but as growing up in a majority English town, I had many friends who in many cases wouldn't even come to London, and when I would ask why, they would simply say it's crap because there are too many of so-and-so people, or it's dangerous because there are too many Muslims, too many this people, that people. And sometimes, you know, this country has a problem in that there are people, there is a huge rural and urban divide. So people from more rural areas of England, where the population is, I don't know, 90% white English, they have a problem understanding multiculturalism. And sometimes it's not just the English people's fault, sometimes it's also the fault of people of foreign backgrounds who possibly need to integrate more as well. But this country at the moment, we're at a precipice and we're at a huge divide. And if we continue down this route, we might, you know, things might unfortunately boil over, and I hope that's not the case. But some of the things I've heard over time, I don't think are helpful for inter-ethnic relations.
What John Cleese said was factual. Right? It's the fact that he's upset by that implies the racism. Not what he stated. He made a correct observation, but he seems to think it's a negative thing. That is sadly. As for London no longer being English, it's always been a city of immigrants. I mean, going back to the Huguenots who came to East London, the poorest part of London. I have a theory that the Cockney accent dropping of the 80s comes from the French accent, hotel and such like. When the well, it's a theory, and then Huguenot churches were turned into synagogues when poor Jewish immigrants get turned into mosques. Yeah, exactly. So East London has always been the home of the poorest in London, the immigrant communities, whether they were Huguenot, Jewish or Bangladeshi, and the East End of London where all the sewage would gush out towards. That's why it was always the poor end of town, and the West End was the rich end. So London has always been multicultural, multi-ethnic, but maybe white Huguenots and white Ashkenazi European Jews blend in a few generations later more easily than the Bangladeshis because they are visibly foreign. And that's what John Cleese perhaps means when he says the town's no longer English.
Can I just give my input on this? Because I've always said that if I would, I see myself as British Punjabi. I don't see myself as English. I think English is a race, and I'm a Punjabi by race. But I'm a British person, and I love the UK. A lot of people call me British Raj, or I'm a freaking traitor. But you know, I live here, and I want the best for the UK, even though I condemn their colonial past. But the thing is that if I went back to the Punjab, where my people are from, which is now more of an ethnic kind of Sikh state, Punjabi state, and there was 30% Chinese people, and the area started changing, and the language started changing, the food started changing, the whole area started changing, I would be upset, not because I hate the Chinese people, but because I would feel like my culture or my people's land is being changed. I think what John Cleese is kind of saying isn't a racial thing. I think it's more of a loss of identity thing when he's coming to looking at his own homeland, and London in particular. I don't see it as, if you're upset about it, I don't think that's an issue per se. It's what you do with it when you're upset. If you're just saying you're upset and you're explaining, look, I don't hate these people, but I love what it was like before, I don't see a massive issue with that being, too controversial in my opinion.
You're not English, sorry.
Yeah.
You're not English.
No.
Are you a Londoner?
I'm a Londoner, I'm British, and I'm Punjabi Sikh.
So in a sense you're from England as well?
Yeah, I mean, I always say I'm made up of 3 components, and without each one, I wouldn't be who I am. I'm British, and I'm Punjabi by ethnicity and Sikh by religion.
Just challenge what you were saying. I recall as a child when I came down here to Speaker's Corner, and I saw Lord Soper, he was a Methodist preacher, a very famous one. He had the House of Lords, and you can still see footage from that time. And people down here were not multi-racial; they were 99% white at that time.
Like the Irish, Polish,
Yeah,
Huguenot.
they weren't. Most people down here now are not white. They are Arabs or whatever they're from. So there has been a substantial change, good or not. I'm just saying, I don't think to say we've always been like that is misleading.
Well, what I'm saying is,
there's been quite a substantial change since
you wouldn't
even
notice.
in my lifetime.
You wouldn't notice whether someone was an Anglo-Saxon or a Scotsman or Irish or Ashkenazi Jew because they're all the same colour.
Maybe.
Yeah, so you I meet a lot of people that are from
Ashkenazi Jew may or may not have been.
So for an example, the Polish, within 3 or 4 generations, I guarantee you their descendants
they'll
will
be
pretty,
just like
pretty much be English.
Yeah.
And they will say we're from Polish descent.
That's
Whereas
what I'm saying.
we are
It's
always going to
a
be,
few
I mean,
generations later,
it is a
it's
colour
easier
thing though,
to
whether we like it or not,
amalgamate.
it is a colour thing
I
because...
think I agree with Raj because when you talk about English identity as being not racial but an
Oh, yeah,
ethnic
totally
identity.
say
Maybe
it.
they mean our shared culture, our shared history. But I think there is a racial side to it as well in reality, and that's the elephant in the room people don't mention because there isn't anything being white about it. Now, of course, whiteness is not an English thing, it's a French thing, it's a German thing, it's a Finnish thing, whatever. But it is nevertheless a race.
You can become English if you look.
So when people mean that, when John Cleese mean that, I think implicit in that was a racial
you know what the
element, not exclusively, but in addition to
basically
the
about
ethnic,
what John
which is a cultural, which is a historical, which is a shared value. So it's a
he didn't feel that London was
I think
English
what's
anymore.
interesting is,
Do you want to join?
as Roger I think he said, partly racial. So you couldn't just be an Eskimo that came here and said, I'm an Englishman, put on a top hat and smoked a pipe, whatever, and I'm an English. That
Depends what you mean by English.
Although it might
You can join in.
It wouldn't in the way I'm talking about it. There has to be some indigenous relation.
Does it come down to
It's like
religion?
an objective truth.
No, because
That there's like a.
I,
Well, you
I'm
could
a
talk
Muslim,
about
I'm a
it.
Muslim,
The thing is,
so
if you want to
does
jump
that
into
make me a
conversation.
foreigner? No.
But I think
Sorry dude, I've got another white person here that you want.
A white person? Oh my
Drag 'em in,
God!
let's drag 'em in.
Congratulations!
I'm outnumbered, where's the
Wow,
minority?
you do
Hello.
come in.
Where's the mic? Come on, a bit
You've
white
got a face.
privilege.
What's your name?
Will.
Well, oh, nice English name. And
There's only one brown person in it. What's going
did you
on?
come in by
It's actually,
accident, or
it's
you?
actually a German.
Don't mention the
Don't
war.
ruin it. Don't
Don't
ruin
mention
it.
the war.
Anglo-Saxons come from
Don't mention the war.
And because my name is Paul, is actually a Greek word, Paulus, which unfortunately means small in Greek. But I don't have you heard, are you aware what we're discussing at all?
A bit. I've just caught on to you talking about John Cleese.
So basically, John Cleese said
We're talking about
that
comedy. We're talking about.
he thought that
Talking about 40
London is not English anymore, and he's kind of upset about the demographic kind of change of London. He doesn't feel like it's what he grew up with. So
It's not English, you said.
Yeah, he doesn't feel like it's somewhere that he.
Are you aware of that? Have you heard the news about that?
I didn't see the comment.
No.
But I asked you, what does he mean by English?
Well, that's the question. That's what we're discussing. What is English? What is identity? And is it what challenges face us as English people in London? And so he just asked, is religion part of it? I say, well, I'm a Muslim and I'm English, but I'm just as English as I was before. I mean, if I'm a Christian, I follow Jesus as my Lord. That's okay, but hang on, Jesus was a brown-skinned, Middle Eastern, Aramaic-speaking Jew from 2,000 years ago, and somehow that's less foreign than me following also another Middle Eastern guy from a bit more recent times from the same part of the world. I mean, somehow one is alien and foreign, another one isn't. Yeah, they both come from the same.
One's established
It should, but in terms of the DNA of the religion, they both come from the Middle East, from non-white people.
Oh,
So,
Jesus!
that's kind of all I'm saying.
Come on, Christians, come in.
So, jumping in the deep end here, but do you have any thoughts about what English identity is, if it exists at all?
Well, I believe it's kind of a social construct. It's constantly changing as our history changes. So we're actually recreating it right now.
But
So,
do you
I
find
mean,
it controversial?
This idea that we need to conserve the past is really just illusory. I think it's
But do you think I could ever become English?
just get on
Right.
with your life. So you're limiting.
It's an English version of English.
Oh, all right, get the brown man out.
Get the brand out. Now, my question is, I'm going to challenge that now on the basis that part of our English identity is that we have a shared history, so we can look back on the English Civil War, we can talk about the way that the settlement with Parliament, English settlement, the Parliament and the monarch, and the relationship between how laws are made, and so on. And this isn't just something that's changing every 5 minutes. I know some things are, but in terms of the constitutional settlements, what we have today is pretty much the same as we had in the Victorian era, as we had under the 100 years before that. That hasn't changed. Now, particularly with the EU, there may have been some change with that EU law. But if we're coming out of the EU, we're back to where we were for many, many, many generations.
So you're saying that history is kind of objective, like we all have the same idea of history? Because even our own ideas about history and present are changing as we go through time. So
I'm saying that there are some constants in our identity which just seem to continue inexorably throughout our generations. I mentioned the political and the governance aspect as being one. And I find it it's much more anecdotal, subjective, but when I go abroad, even to my beloved France, I'm aware that I'm an Englishman. How can I? Here I'm like a fish in water. I swim around, I'm not aware of the water. If I go to that pond over there, the water tastes different, although it's still water, and I'm still swimming around in it. But hey, I've got to be slightly more careful with the menu that I don't order, horse or oysters or whatever, snails or something. But pretty much the same. But it is different. It's different flavour to it, even though we're mostly the same. Actually, French and English are the same.
But do you feel it's racist that somebody like John Cleese would say that he feels that Englishness has gone and that he feels like it's something that's a bad thing? You said that racist. Some people are calling him a racist. I don't think it is.
It's difficult. I don't know what he meant by that statement. It's difficult to say, how many words, 10 or something. People are kind of extrapolating along it. Like,
Volumes and volumes of commentary from 10 words.
I'd like to add something. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
My name is Marilena Fernandez. I'm
Where are you from?
Mexican American. I was born and raised in Los Angeles. My parents are.
You're not a fan of Trump then?
He's the worst thing that has happened to me.
Funny, I don't know. Break down that wall.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Big up Trump.
from my perspective, just to get a perspective from across the pond and very different, historical context. But I'll one of our struggles that we have in the U.S., we have a very good history, but I think really the answer is to cultivate a pluralistic identity as a nation. I think I agree with what you're saying. It's a social construct, and the history you're talking about, or the the continuities that you're talking about, that's also based on hegemony. That's based on a dominant culture and a dominant history, and those who won all the wars, etc. And those who lost or those who were marginalized in any way, our stories are not included. So if we can, I would like to see that in my country, and not that it's easy, not that there aren't growing pains. I think profound and difficult growing pains. But many cultures and many societies have gone through them at different times, and I think that's what we're up against. Are we capable of broadening our vision of what a country and a nation is, that it can still be the same political entity and even the same dominant culture in terms of the let's say the language and how the institutions and political institutions operate, but can we have a inclusive vision where there is room for a variety of cultures, and we all abide by those, by
I
those
think it's a good
laws.
point. I think as a nation, as a United Kingdom, we've always been like that because the Scots and the Welsh and the English and the Northern Irish and the Irish, there's always been pluralist in that sense. It's never been homogenous culturally, because we've always had the Scottish people who eat their food and do their thing, and had a separate legal system to some extent. But I think what we've done in Britain, which is perhaps a really good thing, historically England, is we've institutionalised opposition. So we have the leader, Her Majesty's opposition, the leader of the opposition, Jeremy Corbyn. It is an official title. The opposition is part of the system. And even down here at Speaker's Corner, we talk about the minority voices that have been silenced, but they haven't really been silenced because Speaker's Corner was set aside by Parliament itself in the 19th century to allow trade unionists and others to demonstrate without being arrested for breaching the peace. And people like Karl Marx came down here, Lenin came down here, George Orwell came down here, and these were hardly part of the establishment. And they were allowed by law to speak without being molested, and they were never arrested. That's how Karl Marx ended up in London in the first place, was because he couldn't find an unmolested safe haven in France and Germany and Belgium where he was kicked out. So he found refuge in London and was allowed to exist for all his life in London without ever being arrested for anything. So we have a tradition of tolerance in England, surprisingly perhaps, and institutionalised opposition. Your opposition is respected and accepted and allowed to have its voice. Are there limits? Yes, of course there has to be limits to this, and that's the question here today. I think there is an English identity, not just continuity of history. I think there's an ethnic element to it as well, and we shouldn't be shy of saying that. Just as the Japanese have an ethnic identity, the Nigerians do, the Saudi Arabians do, whatever. Why shouldn't we recognise the English identity as well? And I think that is a valid point. Should we recognise it and treasure it and promote it? Why not? Because we as a country, and the Scots as well and so on, have given the world so much. Everything from the Industrial Revolution itself, even the World Wide Web, was actually invented by Sir Tim, what's his name? He was an Englishman who's alive today.
There's a lot of
Berners-Lee, he's actually Berners-Lee. He actually invented the World Wide Web, which all the world now uses.
But it doesn't. I'm not implying or suggesting to erase that. In fact, I'm completely against erasing anybody, and I acknowledge, of course, that history and. Even as I said, the history of the winners. However, I do think that there's a way to. There must be a way where we can.
I've got very bad
the concept of both and.
Can I say something? I've been to LA twice. I don't like the place. I'm being honest with you.
It's difficult. It's a difficult
It's
place.
nice to look at. It's nice to look at, but I wouldn't live there. And the thing is, no offense, and I was
San Francisco is much nicer.
But what I did realise, which is the positive about America, is that I was quite shocked when I went to LA airport that there were so many Chinese and Mexican people there. In fact, I very rarely saw an African American or even a white person once in a while in that particular area. And it's only when you went to Orange County and places like that, then I started seeing more white people. But the one thing I did find is that whether someone was Mexican, Chinese, whatever, they all, if you ask them, are you Americans, they would all answer yes, and quite patriotically. The problem with the UK is that we've got lots of immigrant groups, and so there's a big difference. So
They're a nation of immigrants to start with.
So with America, there's this kind of there's an inclusivity here of the country, whereas with the UK, there's an ethnicity to being English.
I see that.
Europe, there's more of an ethnic exclusivity within nations. So it's very hard for, let's say, a Pakistani person to become English. They can become British and like the British identity, but they can't. It's really hard for them to be English. They can be proud of being from England, support England, play for England in their football team. But to be a proper English person,
I agree with you.
Can't be, yeah.
I've had this argument a lot with white SJWs trying to protect me. Going, God, you are English. And I'm trying to say that.
There's a white man trying to say
Go on,
something.
go on, go on, talk white man.
But I think the point is that you have your British identity, and you are a British citizen.
I'm a British
and you have
Punjabi
your. I was about to say Indian. but
No, I'm not
Well,
Indian.
well, there you go. That we can go even deeper on that. But the British Asian child, for example, let's go with Giz, has a British identity, a British citizenship, and he has his back home, so to speak, identity as well. If that kid is then English as well, the white English kid will perceive it that he has something I don't have. Because if he's just as English as him, the white kid or the Anglo-Saxon kid is English in a different way, in a way that's in the blood, in the sense that he is possibly an Anglo-Saxon. Someone like Tommy Robinson actually isn't ethnically in his DNA. He is Irish, and I think Tommy Robinson grew up feeling not English enough because his family were not really from England, and he felt like he didn't fit in. And when you don't fit in, you try. You can't beat them. You join them. You try even harder to be more English than the English.
But I think one of the strengths is the fact that you have this kind of umbrella term, British and
There's a white man there who...
Oh, come on. British. Let me finish. British and
How much I hear more from white people?
Oh my God! Look, the Asian man.
Not from
The colonial past has come back to haunt us.
Where do the roots of Britain come from? I mean,
What's the question?
where do the roots of British, the concept of being British come from? I mean, I don't know how true it is.
as a modern political term,
As an identity.
or a historical.
It's evolved over history from the Roman Empire falling, and then there's kingdoms, Mercia, Wessex.
Like, what? Aren't we all African?
What's the latest theory? Is it mitochondrial DNA? Were there
Let's get Rasmus.
different
I mean,
evolutions throughout the planet, or was it an out of Africa thing? I don't know. But we're dealing with that's hundreds of thousands of years.
I'm not an expert on that, but I
Neither am I,
think
but I'm saying
that's the
that
strongest argument. Humans did actually come
But to be honest, I don't think the masses are too. I don't think the masses are too
But Africa
interested
maybe
in that
wasn't
argument.
Africa as we see it today. It may have been a very lush, not as desert in North Africa.
So the thing is, what I'm interested in, when do you cut off that bit of history? And then everybody is British, French, Scottish, or whatever.
Well, but those are national
I
identities.
mean, you mentioned the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
So for you, is that where history starts? And that's where identity is
What I
formed?
mean by the English, I mean the Anglo-Saxons. So the Angles and the Saxons come obviously from parts of Germany, northern Denmark, and they were tribes that emigrated here.
But they also
And then
mixed with the native.
the native Britons, exactly, who were what we would call the Celts, the kind of Welsh and the Picts, Scots, whatever.
say the
So
people
they
that
were
give
kind of
their
pushed to
names
the side. So the dominant Anglo-Saxons, what became the English people, are the Anglo-Saxons. And that's what I got Anglo-Saxon. Although I apparently have a little bit of French.
You talk as if England is a country.
It is. You're in it, sir. Welcome to England, sir.
It's not a
You're
country.
standing in it.
It's a nation, it's not a
Of course it
state.
is.
It's
a
a
nation.
region of Britain.
No, it's a nation. It's a nation.
It's a
historical nation. And you're standing in it.
You
It's
don't have
Africa.
an English passport.
That's true.
You can't have an English.
You don't have an English passport.
They play in the World Cup.
Hang on,
You have a British passport.
How do they play in the World Cup? They're not countries.
as you know, England is a
Born in a
nation.
region
We are,
of Britain.
Russia
United
wasn't
Kingdom.
in it.
United
Russia
Kingdom
didn't have a
of
passport
England,
to,
Wales, Scotland, and Nigeria.
So can we keep it to one?
Can we go one top? England, it doesn't matter of record. England is a nation. Just ask any historian. We are a United Kingdom of England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland in one kingdom, which is the kingdom of the Queen. It just lives about a mile over there.
And this is her part.
And this is a royal park. So we're standing. So she is our sovereign in that sense, our queen, the Queen of England. So we do clearly have a political and legal identity recognised as such by the EU and the United Nations and so on. If we weren't, we'd still be. The question is, we want to raise more controversially, is that all the demographic predictions, demographers, i.e. population predictions for the future, suggest that English people will become a minority in England within, say, 50 years or so. And actually the French in France within 50 years, the same for Germany, Denmark and Holland.
Do you believe that?
Well, I don't. That's what they're saying. They could be wrong, but that's the prediction. And the way change has happened in Europe, say in the last 20 years, if that trajectory happens, it's not going to be that surprising if it does. The question is, does this matter if it was to take place? Should we be concerned about it or not?
I personally
to English people.
I
not
personally
anyone
don't think it's going to happen because many minority groups who have emigrated from nations or cultures where people make lots of babies, lots of children, they will eventually assimilate. Maybe not in this generation, probably the next generation. And they will become just like the standard British Englishman who probably has, one child or 2 children max. They won't be making 6 children, 7 children, etc. I don't think that people of minority backgrounds who right now have not well integrated into UK society will continue on that path. I won't name names.
Oh, no name.
Come on, just don't be honest.
All right. What basically? I'm not saying.
There's no one else.
I'm not saying what I think, but people generally say Muslims. People generally say Muslims are like that. But I think eventually people integrate over time.
I've got to respond to that.
Yeah, go ahead.
As an English Muslim, I would say, what is it that Muslims are supposed to integrate into? Because England,
I'm not saying what I think. I'm Muslim myself, so I'm not gonna argue this. I'm saying what.
The point is,
I'm saying the fears of
that's what I'm addressing.
native English people.
That's what I'm addressing because England has many excellent qualities. It also has a dark side. It has rampant alcoholism. It has recently on the BBC there has been a massive increase in STDs, sexually transmitted diseases, because of promiscuity amongst the population. A massive increase in gonorrhea and syphilis and you name it, because of the laissez-faire freedom of whatever. We've got alcoholism, we've got materialism and so on, godlessness. We're not aware of the divine and how God also has a role in our society and in our lives. So are we integrating into that? Should we integrate into that? I would say Muslims stay clear of that.
All right, Paul, I need to interrupt you. Look,
On the other hand,
hold on. Let the brown man talk. Come on, you've got a lot of white talk today.
I'm finished.
A lot of white dominating
I'm finished,
here.
Raj.
All right, after you finish the talk.
Thank you. Mr. Brown man.
You've been very dominating today.
Excuse me, I thought
Racist.
we were having a discussion English people, not the sequels.
I'm the voice of the people.
There are things I think the Muslims can contribute very powerfully to in our society, and that is the renewal of traditional values, traditional family values, respect for elders, not shunting them off to some care homes and rocks. We're already there. Renewal. Exactly, renewal. These are traditional English values the Victorians and their predecessors treasured, but we have lost since the 1960s. I think Muslims can give voice, if only we would listen to them, to values which are perennial relevance to revitalization of our society as a humane place of compassion and care. Rather than shutting off our elderly people in care homes, the promiscuity damages families, and divorce, abortion on demand, which is a so-called human right, which most of the time has killed babies. It's something that Islam is dead against, as is Sikhism traditionally. This is something we can bring back to the table, which English people have forgotten about. So we can, and this is actually a very Islamic role that Islam, Quran, etc. I'm finished.
Propaganda's over, yes.
Well, I'm not sure. Okay, is that we can remind people of these things and encourage them to bring it back. So instead of assimilating and having 1.3 children and so on, I hope Muslims assimilate, but also renew the culture, renew the society, and call people back to the worship of one God, the God of Jesus and Moses and so on. But they've forgotten that as well. They worship mammon, they worship the stock exchange and standards of living and sex and whatever, the self. So I think Islam or Muslims have a really key future in this country and throughout Europe in a very positive way, without assimilating to the really bad sides which are corrupting. I mean, why does Europe exist? What is the point of our civilization? We don't know anymore as Europeans. Why do we bother existing? What is our goal? What is the reason for Western civilization to exist? It seems it's all about equality and having a good time, but that's not really a goal. It's a mean.
Paul, you need to
that's
monologue's over. The
enough.
propaganda's done.
So what do you?
Let the brown man speak now.
I'm talking white people.
No, white people, get out of the way. The brown man's in charge.
This
Let me
is
say
a
something
between white
Hold
people
on, forget about the white people, because this is
Raj,
about
please.
London being different. And
This
I'm
was
one of
why
those
we came
people.
together, Raj.
I'm one of those people that is making London something different. Yeah, so I have a voice in this, and I'm a British individual.
You're all right.
So yeah, I'm alright. I'm one of the good guys. But the thing is, this kind of narrative I hear from a lot from Muslim stories that the British culture is very one-dimensionally painted. Being promiscuous, alcoholism and stuff like that. There is a lot of other things within British culture that encompass. So you need to say it as well because it's very negative. That encompass. Hold on, Paul. Let me finish.
Let me talk to some English people here.
Let me just talk. Let me talk.
So,
Hold on.
You're not an English.
Let me say. Hold on a second. It doesn't matter. The point is, I asked you to talk about this as well. So if I knew the conversation was just to be about English people, I probably wouldn't have asked you to talk about it.
But that's what we said.
So,
you said let's try to all feel for English people.
I said let's
and
talk.
then when we get together, you want to dominate.
For the last 10 minutes, have I spoken?
You've been waiting patiently.
Very patiently. So Paul, get off your high horse and stop crying. Let me talk. Because I might call you racist like Raspix does to everybody. So the thing is,
you're offended Tommy Robinson.
Hold on. So
now we're changing the subject completely.
You're not letting me. I was very polite and let you speak.
Racism is...
Hold on. Let me speak. Let me speak, everybody. So what I'm trying to say is that I can't believe I have to fight for the side of the English in terms of what is good about the culture. Now, what you're looking around you is the culture, the humour, the art, and there's a lot of things within Islam that restrict these things that are good about the culture. So you're painting all the good stuff, but you're not putting in the bad. And there is a lot of bad that accompanies Islam, which you are not highlighting. You're just giving a sugar-coated view.
Explain why, right?
And so the reason, hold on.
EDL people like you only talk badly about
EDL people.
I'm not
EDL people like you.
I'm not
speak
idiot. I'm
badly.
not idiot.
You support Tommy
fucking
Robinson.
idiot.
So what? I don't support anybody. I'm just my
You don't
own
support him
man.
anymore. You
I'm
probably
my
don't
own man.
associate
I'm my own man. I support
don't
myself.
support Tommy
So
Robinson
basically,
to.
big up Tommy Robinson, but I don't support any
Big
man.
up Tommy
I'm
Robinson,
okay.
a racist thug who attacks
So
Christians.
what I'm trying to say is that
Calm down, Paul.
the way people are talking is like you're trying to make out that people that have concerns, legitimate concerns about another culture that is very dominating coming in, which has some positives. I'm against abortion. I'm for traditional values. I'm for marriage and stuff like that. But there are also big negatives that come with that package.
You're repeating
that,
yourself.
No, that come because you
I want to hear Will.
Hold on. Look, the more you talk, the more I'm going to talk. So let me
Right,
just,
that's not a very adult
no, because you've been interrupting me for the last couple of minutes, shoving me out the conversation like I'm some little
wanna
brown
hear Will,
immigrant
who's an
that cannot
Englishman
talk
on
about
this
the that I cannot. Hold on, I'm going to say
You're an
something to you.
EDL supporting
Let me say
Sikh
something.
Oh,
to you.
shut up, Paul.
Paul, you're sounding
folks.
racist.
There's a lady here
Yeah?
begging
And I don't
some
like
money.
saying that because you're saying to me as a brown person, I cannot talk about this issue about John Cleese saying that London is not English
You told
anymore.
me that
So the thing is, when
you're
I
for English
when
people
I
would get
came
together
over
and
to you
talk
3
about
hours ago and I said,
And
can
now
we?
you're taking over.
Hold on, can we talk?
You're lying, right?
Hold on,
You're
can
lying.
we talk? We, you know the word we, not the piss, but the we that we're talking like we're all together. You shoving me out and saying no, I want the English
I
person
do
to
want to
talk
hear the English person.
is disrespectful.
No, well, I'm sorry. It's
His
disrespectful.
voice is not going to go over my voice because he's English.
Okay, I was
His
gonna
voice will come in
Raj,
because
maybe
he
it's
has
a
a
mistake to
valid
involve
point.
Raj in this in
If
the
you're
first
if you're saying you're going to talk because you're English, then you need to leave.
Yes, I do. That's what I'm saying.
You need to leave.
Okay.
Then move then.
Bye.
No, I'm not having a conversation with a man that is dragging it into
Let me say
you're
this.
English
when
and you
Raj
need to
approached
talk.
me several times this afternoon, he said, I want to get two English people together to talk about the English identity issues.
I said
was talking,
we.
Raj, I'm talking last week. Now what he's doing now, he's taking over and saying that I'm not really interested in the Sikh perspective.
You're
today.
being derogatory
I'm
by saying he can
I'm
talk
interested-
over me because he's English.
I want to hear English
I have a
people's
valid
voices.
point as well to talk in this
I want to hear
situation. It's
English
about
voices,
the
Raj,
immigrant
not your
population as well.
voice.
Let's have a decent
Because
debate
you
now,
are
man.
a well-known supporter of a fascist thug called EDL, Tommy Robinson. You're on record a million times as supporting
My
him.
nickname is Tommy Robinson. What do you think?
I want to speak to an English guy because we're talking about
lying.
English issues here, not Sikh issues or EDL issues.
We're not talking. You're being very
Will,
patronising here.
Will.
No.
I wanna hear
I'm sorry,
Will.
bro. I'm sorry, bro. You're
Will,
not.
I wanna
Come on,
hear
man. You
Will.
can't
Come
dominate.
on, hey, come on,
One
that's
minute.
rude,
You
man.
can speak.
You
Shut up,
can
man.
speak.
Shut
I'll
up.
allow you to
One
speak.
minute.
You don't have
I'm
to.
going to walk away. Let's get
One
back
minute.
to talking.
One minute.
Can we get to
One
let's
minute.
talk to Will,
One
please?
minute. One minute. Let me say something here.
No, you said
when
too
the when the
much,
narrative
Raj.
comes to he's English, let him talk, and
Yeah,
I
it's
can't
not,
talk
man.
because I'm
It's just-
Sikh.
You've already talked
That
about
I
it.
cannot talk because I'm Sikh. You are taking me out this equation of what the issue with this particular topic is.
You are, exactly.
I'm out of the
Exactly.
equation.
Yes. Right. Will,
Oh,
can
do
I
you see
talk
that?
to you? Yes.
You
you're
see
out of the
that?
equation.
That's what you call
You're out of the
That's what you
equation.
call prejudice.
Okay, you call it what you want. I want to talk to an Englishman about English issues, as you set it up originally.
No.
with me
I didn't set up, I'm going to bring 4 English people to talk.
Yes, you
I
did.
said, I want to have a discussion about John Cleese's
exactly.
comment, including from my perspective as an immigrant.
No, you never said that.
All right,
That's a
then,
lie.
if you don't, then you need to leave
You
them.
never said that. That's a
Well,
lie.
leave them.
You never said, and an
Well,
immigrant's
leave. Yeah,
perspective.
move.
Paul. I've been
Give it
kicked
back,
out.
give it back.
Paul.
No, he's
I've been
in
kicked
the
out.
wrong conversation. Move.
Raj,
Move,
you have lied to me. I will say on
move,
camera,
get out.
this man Raj has lied to
Move
me.
out, get out.
He set this discussion on false pretenses, and I want to talk to
He's full of shit. It's not just liar.
This ain't your conversation.
Yeah.
If you guys still
And
want
you
to
ran
keep the
away.
conversation with me
You ran away.
with me involved,
You
do you
ran
want to
away.
keep the conversation with me involved?
Of course.
I never.
Come here, Will.
No. Hold on. You're not dictating nothing, Paul.
Will, can you?
You're not dictating nothing.
Raj, you're
here.
stopping the conversation.
Oh no. You're gonna leave.
Will.
You're gonna leave. Well, I had the
Why did
conversation.
you have to
I'll
leave?
have a conversation with these guys. Well, because if I can't talk because I'm sleeping. Oh, good. So if you come in. Because the thing is, yeah, I'm not going to have a man that I went over to 4 hours ago and said, can we talk about John Cleese's comment about England, London is not England anymore? And I want, without asking for conversation, I'm assuming he's got to talk. And when you're saying he's an English person, let him talk, to me that seems racist.
No, because you're saying about you're talking
Because
about England.
you claim racism about everything.
Come on.
You can't even say the word
Come
black
on.
without you saying racism.
Come on, that's how Tommy and them lot feel as well.
So I'm not saying it's racist. I'm just saying that having the conversation based around solely that only English people talk about a topic, which includes immigrants, he's saying that in London has English people. And the reason he believes that is because of people like me.
Yeah, the topic is immigrants, so.
Yeah, people that look like me. So I don't think that I'm being unreasonable if I want to contribute to this topic.
Nah,
You're not being unreasonable.
yeah, but
England speakers corner, everyone can contribute.
Yeah.
England's not Celtic anymore. I mean, that's my complaint.
Well, I apologise, I'm a bit of a heated mood today, but
Yeah, the
I'll
temperature's
probably make carry Paul later on, but I'm not having people belittle me like that, because it's not acceptable. Alright, so if you guys want to carry on the conversation.
You want to come in? You said England's not a country. You were
It's
very.
not a country. It's a region.
It's a region, but it's
But
more.
historically, it is a country.
It has a national identity,
It is a
right?
region. When
Come
I
in,
hear
man.
one Englishman,
What's your name?
he looks like, my name is Watt, W-A-T-T,
Julian,
like
that's
James Watt
Okay.
from Scotland.
There you go.
You're the
You
Englishman
could be
called me a
you
bastard.
could be the next James Bond.
Well,
The James Bond was Scottish originally. And it was a hoo-ha when they said, can we have Idris Elba as James Bond?
Yeah.
And everyone said, no, we can't have a black Bond.
Yeah.
We've had a white English Bond, we had an Irishman playing James Bond, why not have a black man
yeah,
play
but the
James
first James Bond was
Black man James Bond.
I was the one that said that. Let's talk about it. And he's like going, only English people can contribute.
He did say that.
Only English people can talk. You as a Sikh can't talk. Even though this comment about London not being English anymore is actually affecting the immigrant population. Because we are the people that he's saying is not English. So I'm not having that sort of
Why are you happy about that? Why don't you want the white Englishman to be able to say, I'm from England and I'm English? Why would it
Yeah, I
make
touched him now. I touched him
just all equal?
We live in
You can be black British, Punjabi British.
we're living in
No, you're right. You shouldn't be saying that. You can't talk.
You're white men who have black wives, brown children. So for you to jump up and talk about I'm an Englishman.
No, but he's taking the piss.
Ethnically.
Do you mind me asking your heritage?
Well, my father's mother was Irish. They ran away from America during the starvation to Jamaica. A lot of whites ran away during the starvation of the America. Britain had to take up tons of food from Jamaica.
There's a lot of Irish blood in the Caribbean.
The Americans, when they had when they were jumping through windows on the stock market, and my father's father was Scottish. What?
Yeah, there you go.
Because the Irish and the Scots were taken from England as slaves in 1555 to Jamaica.
It's fucking cold, man.
England, save England from starvation, were the black, well, Ghanaians.
So you're proud of your Irish connection, right? And your Scottish roots. You have some Scottish and Irish heritage.
Of course I do.
Yes, good. And you're proud of it. Shouldn't the white Englishman be proud of his English heritage and ancestry
Yeah,
in the same way that you are?
Yeah, but he's overriding the existence of this gentleman and
Why,
that
why
one.
does it have to be at the expense of another?
Well, he feels that way. It makes him feel as if England is great. England's greatness isn't done by Englishmen.
He has a point here, because some people who say they're proud to be English, they generally say we're proud to be English and that England's being taken away due to this influx of immigrants, influx of minority groups. But I don't see how can it be that these groups can coexist. Why does England have to be great with less immigration? Because immigrants, whether they're Irish, whether they're from Jamaica, whether they're from Africa or India, they built this country. You know, this cannot be denied for the last 300
Yeah, but the thing is,
years.
look, as somebody who's been on the kind of, I see both worlds, because I do mix around with people that some people might be racist. Some people say Tommy Robinson's, some of these people are just good, honest, hard-working people that I meet. And I also spend time with the Asian community, my own community, everything. And one of the things that I feel that the British or the white indigenous population feel is that I don't think they're so necessarily against immigration per se, but I think they're against immigration where the cultures do not let's just say kind of amalgamate with the indigenous population. So the Sikhs, I think, I'm going to big up the Sikhs. I think the Sikhs and my own community have got a good middle ground. Like if you look at me the way I'm dressed, you know, I'm very traditional in my dress. My second language is Punjabi. I'm a British Punjabi Sikh, and I have no issue being British, Punjabi, and Sikh. Now the issue with some communities is that they don't want the component of being British. And so when you take that out, what can connect me with you and me with you? You understand? If you don't see yourself as British, you just see yourself as an...
Oh, I see myself.
Yeah, you do, but I'm thinking that there are a lot of people I speak to who refuse to see themselves as British. And the problem I'm having is if you can't, let's just say kind of like, you know, have some kind of social collusion over being British, there's nothing in common.
Do you think this goes both ways as well?
Yeah, it does
So,
have
for
to go
example,
both ways.
an Englishman needs to extend the
Yeah, of
olive
course,
branch
yeah, of
out.
course.
Could I bring a point here? Valid point. There are more Englishmen and women living in black people's country abroad than there are foreigners living here. Right? Yeah.
Speak up.
So can I just give you an overview of what we're talking about? There's a guy called John, you know John Cleese, do you know who John Cleese is, the comedian? Basically he's a famous comedian who said that he feels that London is no longer English anymore. And he's been called a racist now for saying
Yeah, but what about English race? Even English themselves.
Yeah, they're all foreign back.
They go back to history. We come to this country. Look, the Ghanaians are the people who saved from starvation in 1555 when the plague, the Black Plague, right? This part when they talk about the king gave it to the people or what have you. That's a goddamn lie. When I came here, I remember 19 months and my father brought me up. My father brought me up in his car to see this place. 57, I was a young boy. And there's gravestones. All of this is a great cemetery. Over there, the Jamaicans take over that corner, and it was about politics. There's no goddamn religion, right? And suddenly, the Methodist Church, what is happening now? The Methodist Church realized that there's too many Arabs. So they bring in boys from prison, brainwash them from prison about the Bible. They don't believe in the Bible. They brainwash them, bring them here, and they're challenging all the Muslims. They're looking at them. Most of them boys around here, young ones, they're from prison. Take them out of prison.
Let's not get down. Let's not go down this route because let's try and keep under the topic of you know this conversation about London not being English anymore. Now, people are going to obviously say, "Oh, you're an Islamophobe. You're an shut your mouth." Because the thing is, critiquing something doesn't mean you hate something. I'm saying that of all the communities, whether you like it or not, most communities, like the Hindu community, Sikh community, other communities, have kind of like blended and blended in within the UK kind of society. But there is, whether we like it or not, there seems to be, from whether we believe it or not, but there are people out there that feel that when it comes to certain aspects of the Muslim culture, it goes against the British way of life.
Jealousy, man. Muslims have a lot of money. Like Knightsbridge, if you're
Like
around there.
Paul said, Christianity comes from Islam. And there's stuff in Christianity that will go against secular, British.
Paul, let me say something. Paul is just a propagandist. He comes in here trying to dictating the conversation. And what I will say about Paul, he needs to look within himself and start to realise that not everything about Islam is hunky-dory. There are some negatives about it. And some of the negatives is this kind of freedom, restriction of freedom of speech, restriction on certain things that are... I love drawing, I love art, I love music, I love things like that. And unfortunately, these kind of things that, are very much a part of British life is restricted within a particular culture. And
Within only extremists.
so can you draw a portrait? So I'm a portrait artist. Can you draw a portrait? If I become a Muslim, could I draw a portrait of someone's face? What? Alright, so if I'm strict, there's no point becoming Muslim and I'm so what I'm saying is that certain things here that,
Have you ever lived in a Muslim country? Yes or no?
I haven't personally, but my...
You have to live in a Muslim country and judge.
So basically, look, from where we are as a people, Punjabi, it was mixed with Sikhs and Muslims and Hindus for hundreds of years, thousands of years. And they had to separate during the partition. And we do have very distinct ways of looking at... How can you tell me the partition is not true? I'm telling you it has to be. Do you know about the Indian partition? So how can you say something He's telling me my own history. You're worse than Paul, for God's sake. All right.
We can look it up.
So basically, what I'm trying to say is that I'm kind of sick and tired of people like Paul who are going around saying, oh, the British, when they talk about British culture, they always bring up drinking, being promiscuous, and all the negatives, but they don't bring in any of the positives. And it's the positives that I love about the UK. The art, the music,
The freedom.
the culture, the freedom. And
What about the positives?
yeah, there's a lot of positives, so I am totally against being positive. I think traditional values is paramount. I even think dressing traditionally and conservative is good. I think abortion is murder. So I'm very conservative in my views. And I do agree that that is the good bit, but there are also a lot of negative baggage that comes with it. Yeah? And that's... Alright.
I'm going to have a sit down chat.
Yeah, I think we're going to end it now anyway. We will try and I apologise that it got a little bit heated, but just 1 minute. So I will.
Try to get a book.
Yeah, I will.
No, go.
When other countries.
We could be cousins, I'm Irish heritage.
Yeah.
We could be related.
I'm not normally that hostile, but what's your name? Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, no one dictates whether a brown man can talk in a white conversation. If I want to speak, I can speak. Don't tell me that I can't speak in Speaker's Corner, which is the land of free speech. We got the Kafari Runtings. Oh, I had to do that. But now you're...
The world Muslim. Yeah.